Now, the country's focus is right now to find a cure to coronavirus. In the meanwhile, Maharashtra government has asked permission from the Council of Medical Research, the IMRC, to conduct clinical tests to use BCG vaccines as anti-coronavirus treatment. Chief Secretary of Maharashtra, Ajoy Mehta, has written to the Director General of ICMR as well as the Drug Controller General of India, requesting them to expedite the process, while WHO has also hinted at a possible effectiveness of the BCG vaccine in alleviating symptoms of COVID-19 in patients. The BCG vaccine, remember, is used for prevention from meningitis as well as tuberculosis, and now could also be used as the latest weapon to deal with the worldwide pandemic of COVID-19. While India continues to give BCG vaccines to newborns, the practice has now been discontinued in many Western countries, including the United States. Let's quickly go over to Sahil Joshi joining us live for more on this. Sahil, we're looking at BCG vaccination, which Maharashtra wants to explore and administer to its areas where they're looking at a rise in COVID-19 cases. BCG vaccines, which was always administered to those newborns in India, now they're looking at a treatment of the same for coronavirus.
Yes, the Hafkin Research Institute run by the Maharashtra government thinks that the BCG vaccine can be a good remedy against the the people who have been infected with coronavirus. They think that their primary tests actually have come forward and come up with a positive result. They think that the symptoms can be lowered down. If someone is facing some severe symptoms, can be brought down to the mild or mild symptoms by using the BCG vaccine. So now they want to go a step further and want to go for a clinical test, and that's why the permission from the ICMR as well as the Drug Controller General is needed. So the government has written to both these bodies and have asked them to allow them to conduct clinical trials. They have also identified an institute in Pune where these trials will be conducted. The ethics committee of the institute has already given a permission. The medical education department has also given a permission. So they to pursue that, now the chief secretary has also written a letter to them, letter to ICMR and Drug Controller General. So obviously at the highest level, the Maharashtra government is trying to pursue to get the required permission to conduct these particular clinical tests at this point of time.
We do know that BCG vaccines is used to mitigate tuberculosis and meningitis. This has been extensively used for newborns in India, but countries like the US have stopped administering it to their newborns. We're looking at now India itself, Maharashtra being the first to explore this as a vaccine for coronavirus. Thank you, Sahil. Now, after Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced a 19-day extension to the nationwide lockdown, the opposition cried foul. Congress hit out at the Prime Minister, saying that other than the extension, there is nothing specific that was planned or spoken about with regards to financial aid in the Prime Minister's address. Former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram, in his Twitter message, has also put out a statement saying that he supports the extension, but he claimed that livelihood and the survival of the poor is a big question. They are not priorities on the list of the government. Another Congress leader, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, also came out in a Twitter message slamming the Prime Minister for not announcing anything on the economic front, which has been affected by the lockdown caused by COVID-19. Now, RJD and CPI also hit out at the Prime Minister for not mentioning anything for poor and labourers.
Hitting out of the Prime Minister or addressing the economic concerns that were not mentioned in his speech, but the Prime Minister did go ahead and mention wait till tomorrow. There's a proper guideline that is coming out. Maybe a bit too soon to react at the moment, Manish?
Well, we've just done a detailed briefing from the All India Congress Committee with regard to what we heard from the Prime Minister. In fact, as a spokesperson of the party, it is I who did the briefing. And we've clearly enunciated and articulated that while we can understand the constraints to extend this lockdown by another 19 days, because that's essentially what the sense one got after the Prime Minister's meeting with the Chief Ministers, and that's what the epidemiologists and other people have been saying. What we expected to hear from the Prime Minister was what the government is doing for the people. Whenever the Prime Minister speaks, what you hear from him is what he expects the country to do. What you don't hear from the Prime Minister is what is the government doing for the country. And I think that's the missing link in the Prime Minister's articulation. For example, the most
And you know,
horrifying
Manish Tiwari, just to play devil's advocate over here, not refuting what you're saying even for a second. Yes, the people wanted more. Yes, the people wanted to know, industries, SMEs, MSMEs wanted to know what are the kind of tax breaks, how are they going to hold on to their employees, what is the kind of push that they're getting in terms of working capital requirement as well. A lot of demands have been made. A lot of voices from the lockdown is something that we've been picking up all this while, and these are answers probably that the industry required as well. But having said that, the Prime Minister made it amply clear. Wait for the guideline that is coming out tomorrow. Perhaps there is a mention of all of that in the guideline as well. We probably need to just wait and watch to see what he comes up with, because at the moment, the Prime Minister's priority seems to be saving lives over anything else.
The most horrifying image of the entire lockdown was the mass migration of the poor and the impoverished from our cities trying to head back to their home and earth in the countryside. Now you've decided, or the government decided, in its wisdom, to quarantine them. This exodus took place on the 28th, 29th of March. Now, 14 days of that quarantine, which is mandatory in terms of the Infectious Diseases Act of 1897 and the Disaster Management Act under which this lockdown is being enforced, are over. Now, those people who do not test positive, what are you doing in order to facilitate them to go back home? Are you would the government keep them against their will? If they've left out the mandatory period of quarantine and they have tested negative, would you then confine them against their will in those quarantine camps? I think that's the single biggest, most germane question on which not only state governments but even local authorities are looking for guidance from the government of India.
We respect his concern, but at the same time, the people of this country want to be very stable on the economic front. Either a farmer or an industrialist or an entrepreneur or anyone who is giving the jobs for this country. No packages, no incentives, no policies have been announced. This is unfortunate.
कि जब आप कहते हैं कि घर में रहें, सुरक्षित रहें, तो उन माइग्रेंट वर्कफोर्स की जो घर की अवधारणा है उसके बारे में उससे कोई इंगेजमेंट मैं नहीं देख रहा हूं। बेघर लोगों के साथ कोई इंगेजमेंट नहीं देख रहा हूं। आने वाले 1-2 दिन में अगर प्रधानमंत्री जी इसको प्राथमिकता में लेंगे, सोशल सिक्योरिटी दें, लॉकडाउन का डिफरेंशियल इम्पैक्ट होता है मध्यम वर्ग, उच्च मध्यम वर्ग पे अलग प्रकार का, लेकिन जो ये निम्न आय वर्ग हैं, हाशिए के समूह हैं, इन पर लॉकडाउन ने महामारी से ज़्यादा महामारी पैदा कर दी।
This was expected. The extension of lockdown is not something unexpected. The point here is, he says tomorrow the government will give guidelines. What are those guidelines? We do not know. He did not make any announcement with regard to livelihood package to the poor people, daily wage earners, migrant workers, all those who have lost their jobs, who have lost their earnings in the informal sector as well as part of formal sector. Prime Minister has not said anything.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.